Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah.
Hey Vivas, and welcome to season 4! I am so excited to be here with you. Wow, we took a break this time around. Dominic and I definitely needed it to get some things together. We had a live viewing here in New York City at the Duplex. Thank you, Duplex, Thomas and staff for taking care of us. It could not have gone better, except for the fact that our internet went out, but that was not his fault. That's old buildings in New York City. We tried, we had MiFis and Wi-Fis, and we tried to connect to phones and all of that, but the show went how it did, and that was wonderful. We were able to interview Rich Ferraro, who is our Chief Communications Officer at GLAAD. We were able to talk to Jimmy James for a little while. We had some amazing entertainment from Tajma Stetson, Kimmy Some Money, and Reese Havoc. I'm so grateful for everybody that was a part of the show, but I'm very grateful for my core team, which is my husband, Chip, Sarah, and of course, this show would not be possible without Dominic. And I am getting him on screen today, y'all. This is going to be a family reunion among family reunions. The dogs are clearly out today, as you can hear them jingling around, and they are here with us. So, one thing we did during the live showing that I hope some of you were able to see, but I'm not sure all of you were able to see, was Dominic made an amazing recap of our seasons. This is our 68th show, if we're counting in line. Today is our 68th show, if we count the Duplex show. And so I need to make sure next week is really good, because what's better in the world than 69? So we have a recap that Dominic made of our seasons. That is season 1 through 3. And we will also have some media up later on the Duplex show and, of course, season 4. But for now, watch this video. It is a little bit of a lengthy video, but it really shows what we've been through on Viva Aaliyah. So without further ado, Dominic, take it away. And we shall see.
I want to know what the screen looks like. Is it just us? I mean, I know it's just us, but...
Connecting live video. Live. And we're in full screen. So we're just...
I can see it.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Shit!
Just your Zoom.
I just adjusted it. So it might take a second. Is it good now?
Yeah, but we hear Zoom full screen. So
It is. It is. I think there's a lag.
What'd you call me?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of Viva Aaliyah. My very first special guest is my dear sister, lifelong friend, and extraordinary Kansas City model, Ms. Tajma Stetson. Welcome, Tajma!
Hi, gal. So happy to be the first guest on Viva Aaliyah. And I just have to say, Viva Aaliyah! I want the entire nation shouting it.
Hi, Olivia. How are you? While you're I've got my wine and loving this upgrade. Michael says Kitty is teaching the children tonight. Yes.
Yeah, damn right I am.
And that's what we want, though. We want somebody who comes from a different style of drag, but still does drag. It's emotion, and you serve emotion in your drag, and I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Drag is the embodiment of art in motion.
And you hear the rush of that crowd that comes towards you as you take something off. It is the coolest high ever.
People of color have not been celebrated digitally the same way as others.
we should focus and pay our attention to the people of color who are trying to create the difference.
You know, because nobody knew who I was then. You know, I was 23 from a small city and, you know, just happened to come upon the pageant.
LGBTQ issues were like kind of on the back burner, you know? So they couldn't do that again, I don't think. They couldn't be as mean as they were to us and get away with it. They were mean.
Your brother that is black is out there in the street. He is black. He needs to be in this house with us.
It happens to people who are physicians. It happens to patients. It happens to staff members. It's everywhere.
There is hope right now because you look at these marches and you look at the people standing up and it's all of us.
Marching often is an access issue for people who might have disabilities. And so that can be a trouble spot for folks who are interested in participating in these marches.
I will totally jump out on these dance videos. I will have underwear on. Don't expect that. I'm not that kind of lady.
We, as leaders in the community, inform them and let them know, hey, it is important that our voice does matter. And they'll get out there and they'll vote, me included.
You know, the love of pageantry through what people are showing us and what people are sharing with has been awesome.
I mean, that's the beauty of the beauty world in general. It's forever changing. You have to have a new idea. You have to be the person that brings either something new or something back that hasn't been back in a while in a different way.
For me, it has always been important to be you. Just be you. Be the best you that you are, because there's nobody better you than you.
I longed for acceptance and value that I never received because I was trying to do something that was impossible.
Straight men, who want to do good and want to compete and raise $10,000 for a local charity.
We all cook. Don't worry, Ariane. We got you covered.
Girl, I'm here to tell you, we ain't got to have sex now. If he can cook, girl, I'll work 2 jobs.
So if you've ever seen the TV show Dance Moms, that was my upbringing. I was raised in that. I had a big fat woman yelling at me to point my toes and to spot and all that stuff.
In 2020, there has been this incredible social movement that has really, for a lot of people, for the first time, brought to the forefront of their minds a lot of the injustices that have many of our friends out there in the world have suffered for literally 400 years.
A lot of clubs are not open, and if they are open, they're only allowing a certain amount of people in the club. So you have to deal with that.
I think a sense of family is exaggerated more so than ever now, and pageantry is a family.
Don't let people take your voice away. Do what you need to do. Let's get to work. It's going to take all of us. Every little vote counts.
This is Bella. Her costume is Dark Lady, because she is a beautiful Dark Lady. Make sure that if you need anything, if you need us to whoop somebody's ass, girl, I'm a Latin bitch and I will do it. We keep in our cheeks for a reason.
I had the baseball bat with me.
But what I would like everybody to know about Uni is that she was a forgiving person and she was full of love. She was really full of love.
It's our first press tour. Sorry. We're very nervous. This is our first stop on our press tour. Yeah.
Don't be nervous, honey. I take it slow. It's fine.
Even though sometimes I don't sleep for 3 days, but at the end, the product will be there because once I'm gone, Sion's heart will be here forever.
Is this something my mom would not accept me doing, but is this something my mom would champion me in? I think somebody who has love in their heart and is able to share that love in one way or another, whether that's friendship or family or with a significant other, that makes somebody that's like a part of being a good person.
During the COVID, I started doing masks. I stopped making costumes for, I would say over a month. I didn't have time to do costumes. I made over 5,000 masks during the COVID.
A frame for for filming, green screen, sequin curtains in different colors, lights, a ring light. I got a microphone, I got a sound system. I was like, that's it. We converted the living room into a studio, and that's what we've just been doing, shows and shit since then. You have to kind of adapt and evolve.
She came over to me and said, "Hi, I'm Diana Ross." And I was like, I know, I almost fell off the boat.
We're always thinking of our friends in Brooklyn, the drag artists. We're thinking of outside of just the typical person who buys makeup.
I was covering for space, and I remember covering for space, and I remember, did you hear me? Not that babe, no trouble.
Girl, you still look great, and you still have great body. I mean, you're wonderful.
Add into the fact of the pandemic and all of that. There's just a lot of different things that we're trying to juggle in a short period of time.
Being a virtual show has definitely had its struggles and working out all of the kinks, as I'm sure you know. But now you're in season 3, and you're like, hey.
TikTok is just so fucking addicting, and I can't stop. And you just get so you know what? If he's on TikTok, he has to be forgiven. Sorry.
I think it does something when you hear from your commander-in-chief that you're not welcome. And that's what the message was. So I think Von's exactly right that the people who were career knew, okay, lock it up.
Keep moving forward, have fun, live your truth, have a kiki, have a bop.
The entertainment world all around this country to compete for this really, really great contest and be a part of this.
If there was a barrier, I didn't let it hold me back.
We're all here as New Yorkers for the same reason of trying to be understood, I think, right? And trying to tell our story in one way or the other.
We have to remember that even though we're competing together, there has to be a sense of camaraderie.
My doctor's visits have been great. I just went the other day. So I'm going to go back to Miss Florida.
Hi, Mike. It's me, Olivia Lux from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13. I'm here at my studio now, right after a shoot.
Just is about accepting folks as humans. I mean, we're all human, you know?
And the lyrics and melodies are just, they come as gifts from the universe. I don't know where they come from, but I accept them.
It sounds like she's single, she's looking to mingle, and she's had a couple of drinks.
66 weeks of Viva Aaliyah down. Season 4, I just want to let all of you know, will be taking place in October of this year. We have a lot to tackle. Our opening episode is going to be live in person. We will also be streaming, so don't you worry if you are not in the New York City area, but we will be in front of a live studio audience. My stomach turned, but my heart beat because so strongly because I'm so excited for it, but also we get to do this. I love all of you. This has been so much fun. I cannot wait to see what we have in store for you for season 4. I love you. You're wonderful. Please take care of each other, and make sure that you love the people around you as much as you want to be loved, and that you're taking care of them. The world is a scary place right now, and this world is trying to purge us. I promise you. It's sick of our shit, and it wants us gone. So make sure that you are taking care of the people around you, and that they're taking care of you. I love you all, and I will see you in October. And until then, Viva Aaliyah. Holy shit. That is 66 episodes in 10 minutes, and I'm gonna bring our guests to this stage. Wow, it's clearly been a while since we've been here. I'm gonna bring our guests on camera. So all of you, come on, Dominic, Nashi, Cole, if you're there, come on. Okay, we have 2 of you right now.
Cole might be joining us later. Just heads up.
Wow.
Hi.
66 episodes. What did you think, Nashi? What did you think of our little intro there?
I was getting a little bit of tears in my eyes. It was so cute. It was yeah, you've done so much.
let me tell you, Dominic surprised me with that at our premiere at the Duplex, and when y'all came on, I was done. I was like, I can't go on anymore. The world is over. I was doing one of these, trying to make sure the makeup wasn't running. Yeah. I mean,
and then we were like, go.
Aaliyah Martinez knows. I think the first thing I said when I came on stage was, "You're an asshole." Like, why? It was such a. 66 episodes. We're at 68, and of course, like the queer thing to do is like 69 is next. What do we do for number 69?
Sex positivity. Let's do it.
Sex positivity.
Do it.
We definitely need to talk about sex positivity on the next episode. So we are here together. This is right now a mini family reunion, and we obviously have some folks that are not with us right now. Cole, who might join us later, possibly. Rabbi is not here this time around, and Jared was. Thank you. I made it myself. The background. And Jared is traveling, I believe, dyeing his hair. Something happened. He needed
gay hair emergency.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was dyeing his hair. So, Nashi, what have you been up to, baby, since we talked to you last?
Jeez, well, I moved back to Australia, so it's good morning. I've got my morning cup of tea.
Good morning.
But it's what time there? And what day?
Yeah, it's Sunday at 11:21 a.m.
Yeah.
You're in for a good day. All right.
We love it. It's the New York City Marathon tomorrow, so that's the day. Like all New Yorkers avoid the subway. You stay in your home unless you know somebody who's running it, and then you're like in it to win it, right?
Yeah. I never got to watch it when I lived there. I'm gonna stay home.
Well, they won't be running by your house, so that's. I'm now on 96 between 1st and 2nd, and there's multiple buildings here, so I didn't give away my one address. Luckily, the marathon is right by us, so Dominic is going to come over. We're going to have some mimosas in the morning, and then we'll see Chip, who is my husband, running the marathon tomorrow, and then we'll meet some food or something, and then I'm off to Palm Springs. So. But anyway, what have you been up to besides waking up in the morning to be on our show?
Well, I lived in the Central Coast on the beach for 3 months with my brother. It was really lovely. And in that time, because of Viva, Aaliyah, I was able to volunteer for this banning of conversion practices and therapy in Australia. It's called Sogice Survivors. Look it up, SOGICE. And so I volunteered for them, and we basically were able to bring in the most concise and one of the best laws in the world to ban conversion practices here in my home state, Victoria. So that happened in February, and from there, it kind of just blew up. I got to do an interview for a local newspaper here called The Guardian, did a podcast for The Guardian on my experiences, and now I have been invited to be a part of a documentary that is kind of going to be very similar vibes to Pray Away, but will be focused more on Australian practices.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's all because of this show.
I was like, this.
Go, Nashi, go.
Yes.
So, Dominic, you and I talk a lot, and obviously I want everybody else to hear what you've been through, but I want to ask one question. Well, I know Dominic is also thank God she's not asking me a question yet. But Dominic has a book, which is called This Is Not About You, which is about everything y'all went through in the same conversion therapy group, and it led to a lot of things for him. But did his book lead to things for you? Did you hear about it a lot? Did you Did you get feedback from it? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were interested in, you know, I had so many people, so many friends and whatnot joining in and streaming to this. And so they heard about Dominic's book for sure. And I'm actually still yet to get my free copy from Dominic because he hasn't sent me one. I wanted a signed copy, please. But
That's
yeah,
not to say you haven't purchased one on Amazon.
No, I've just been waiting patiently for, you know, the promise.
We're actually sold out right now at the warehouse, which is amazing. So
yes,
but no, I'll make sure you get one, Nash.
It's all good.
Look at that.
There you go. That's
Look at
me.
that little cutie.
Oh,
yeah.
Where are you? That's obviously like the headline is what we're looking at, but I was like, where are you?
I was in Tasmania for that, on this beautiful beach on the coast of Tasmania that was at the bottom of pretty much the Australia. So you got to just look out, and the next thing would have been Antarctica. It was really cool. Yeah.
You don't think about that when you think Australia. The next thing would be Antarctica.
Yeah, we're at the bottom.
So, okay, so you heard a lot from it, and then did you personally have any? And we'll get into Pray Away in just a second, but did you have any, like, anybody come to you and say, like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you, when you were on this show, we all had Dominic's book come out, we all read through it. And so I just want to know, like, did any of you get backlash from this?
Yeah, I did. I got one very abusive message from someone in my past, and it was a combination of things, but I think like this show and like being more outspoken than I was in the past kind of brought that on. I was with my brother and the message came through, and I broke down in tears on the kitchen floor, and it was just really harsh. Blocks that person. They're no longer in my life, no longer have anything to do with me, cannot see me, cannot talk to me. So that was good to get them out. Like,
yeah,
I need that vibes in my life. But yeah, definitely, because I'm more outspoken now and a bit more confident in my journey. It brought on only one strong backlash. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think we touched on this the last time, that it's so interesting that all of us we've all lived these different lives because of this. We were somebody before conversion therapy and living open. We were somebody after, and you can't. It's difficult, and it's interesting to meld those people together who you knew through those two different lives. Now that we're through a renaissance into a completely different person. So it's interesting. So I assume this is somebody that you knew in your previous life, so to speak.
Yes, yeah. In my straight life.
Yeah.
We all had one of those. Thankfully, we're all truthful to ourselves now. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. If the answer is I don't have that message, then that's fine. But for that person, should they be watching this, what would your healing message to them be?
Yeah, I think I would love them to watch it. I would love them to just understand and not be so bitter that you have to tear me down when I'm just living my life. And you know, we're all different. That's the reason humanity is beautiful, is we're all different. So try and just learn about something that's different than you. It's not that scary. It's actually really fun. If you can learn and grow, that's the whole point of living. So I do wish that person the best. And I don't think they will ever see this because I've literally excluded them from my life. But hey, who knows? If they do, I love you. I forgive you, and do better.
I mean, honestly, it's hard to give healing messages to people who have purposefully reached out to you in a negative way. And so but I think it helps us grow as people to be able to give those messages to people.
Yeah, totally.
And the forgiveness, which we didn't ask you to do, is like the biggest growth point that I feel anybody can have in any situation where somebody is coming at them in a way that is not positive. So, first of all, I'm the two of you. Dominic, you're not producer right now. You are on this show, so you may be clicking on buttons, but like, you know, I watch all of you very closely, whether you want me to or not.
Well, I do. I love a good voyeur.
And I just have to say, like, all of you, and Jared, who I haven't actually personally met at this point, not the first Jared, the second Jared, but now we have multiple Jareds. But I watch all of you, and I'm just so like beyond thankful to have you all in my life, and just proud of the friends and I know I'm like, I've got you. You're part of my family. I'll be like drag mom. I'll be whatever you want. But you're my friends. You're my companions in life. And this is like, I'm just so proud of what you've done, and like so happy for you that you can live the life that you want to live and do the things that you want to do. And it's crazy to me that anybody would think that happiness is not the way to live life. Yeah. And I just it's beyond me to think that that's not how somebody would want to live, because the things that I've seen, the things that I've read Dominic's book front to back a couple of times now, and you will too as soon as you get your free copy. No, just but we'll get into Pray Away in just a second. I am gonna make Dominic talk here now, but I watched Pray Away, and I knew that I was going to go into it emotionally, but I became emotionless because of it. Like watching it, I was like, I'm not. And those were like the thoughts that I had right away. I couldn't finish a sentence. And so I just, I grew up in very similar communities and had similar experiences without actually going through the conversion therapy portion of it. And I think that would have, I don't know who I would be today with that having had happened to me. And I'm just very proud of all of you, and just so grateful to have you as a part of my life to show me how to be a better person. So, yes, I just love you.
I love you too.
Dominic, I'm going to make you speak now. You wrote the book, which is the book titled "This Is Not About You." You were a significant part of the production of Pray Away. You had input. You had say you were at the parties. You were at all of this. What after our show? What did you experience? Did you have people reaching out to you? Did you feel a sense of relief? Did you feel a sense of like, shit, I need to protect myself more?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, first I'll say I wasn't part of the production of Pray Away. I was part of the post-production, so I just don't want to miscredit anyone for things that I did not do. I do not speak on behalf of Netflix or Netflix producers. Disclaimer: they got more money than me. They'll come and get me. But no.
Take us. No.
What was that?
I said, come take us. We want you. No, go ahead.
It'll be streaming soon. Book has been going extremely well. As you knew, so we did this last in August 2020.
Season 2.
Yes, August 2020. Yes. Okay. Yes. It's all coming together. 2020 was such a blur. I don't even know what happened. And it's almost 2022. So I released my book released July 1st, 2020. We did this show early August of 2020. And this was the first thing I ever did on camera. You know for sure that I hate being on camera. I don't like talking. I can write all the doodah day, but I do not like being in front of people at all. And so becoming, whenever my book came out, with Pray Away being delayed because of COVID, the producers approached me to become a lot more involved in that project now that we had time. And now that we had the Netflix deal and the Ryan Murphy came on board and all of that, which was really a blessing in disguise with COVID delaying the movie, because then it gave them and us the chance to negotiate with Netflix and get it on Netflix, which is the widest audience you could possibly have. And one of the things that I'm most particularly proud about with Netflix is that it is not many, well, some people know that there's different versions of Netflixes in the different countries. I think some people are like, how come I have RuPaul's Drag Race on my Netflix and you don't have it on your Netflix? So there's different content on the different Netflixes around the world. But what our biggest victory was with Pray Away is that we succeeded in negotiating that it would be on every single iteration of Netflix in every single country, including the ones where homosexuality is illegal. So amazing. Like that's the biggest deal that I could not be more prouder of. And then the same with my book releasing that. Now I'm in 3 different Amazon distributions around the world. So now you can get it around the world, which is great in any country as well, which is why we're out of stock right now, which is amazing. Coming in stock, I think Thanksgiving, I don't know. Don't ask me. I wrote it. It is being, my book is being translated into Spanish, which I can reveal, and that will be released on January 1st, which is exciting because there are still a lot of, and Aaliyah, you could probably attest to this, a lot of the Latin-based families and cultures that homosexuality is just not as easily talked about or discussed or approached. Due to religious and just history of those different countries. So I'm very, very excited about the Spanish for it. And I can say that I think I talked to you briefly about this, Leah, that it is being adapted into a play, which is really neat. I have 3 producers and I have a writer and we have a director already. So I'm already receiving paychecks from it. It's interesting.
Yes.
So very, very exciting.
On what they call offer only. No, I'm just
very, very exciting. I can announce because I was texting him during the intro video right now and saying, can I say this out loud? And he said I could. That 2-time Tony nominated director Michael Arden is attached and he wants to direct it. So the same guy that did Once on This Island, which was beautiful, and the Deaf Spring Awakening as well.
Deaf West, that was amazing.
Yeah, and he said I can say that, so I'm saying it. So that's exciting. I'm already receiving pages for that, and to be perfectly honest and transparent, the thing that I'm struggling the most with, because I thought I was done telling the story, I closed the book literally and figuratively, and I thought I was done, but now with it being adapted into play, and I'll be perfectly clear, I am not writing the play. I am not a playwright. I don't know how to do that. Good dear friend of mine is doing it, who I've known for years. And what I'm struggling with right now is we are writing in several characters, being the boys like us that went through this. And obviously we can't include everybody because, as Nashi knows, these groups sometimes had 30 or 40 people in there, and we can't pay 30 or 40 actors to be on stage. So having to kind of take bits and pieces of what everybody was going through and those stories that are compelling and put them into I think we're talking about 5 or 6 boys that we're going to kind of go into. So I think one of the characters is the son of a preacher, which I believe there was several of in our group. And that's just an interesting, that was not my story. I don't think that was your story, Nashi. I'm not sure, but well, you know that there was guys in there whose fathers were pastors. And there is another character in there that has fully transitioned, is a transgender woman now. And again, that was somebody's story, wasn't mine. So it's a struggle to get all of those stories together, but I'm excited that to have yet another platform to be able to tell these stories of. And we're also working closely with the producers of Pray Away on this new project as well. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, but again, I will say, I'm sure Nashi will say the same, is like, we're not doing this to become famous. We're not doing this so our picture will be plastered in newspapers and stuff like that. I couldn't care less about that. It's the cause and the purpose of the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So one question that I want to make sure that is in this is for you, Dominic, is the feedback that you got, the pushback that you got, did you have somebody that reached out to you and was like, what the are you doing right now? Have you had the same experience that Nashi had in experiencing somebody who was not ready for this?
Mm-hmm. I had a lot of folks sending me paragraphs and paragraphs of positive messages and saying, we had no idea that was happening to you while we knew you, which makes sense because I wasn't very vocal about it. Why would you say, hey, every Thursday I'm going to a group, so many people that just had no clue. I will say that as far as negative, for the longest time, for over a year, since the book and the movie and all of that came out, I had not heard from my parents. I don't really speak to them much. And I finally did hear from them, I want to say in September. It was fairly recently. And it was extremely negative and hateful and how could you and all of that stuff. So unfortunately, that's not where I wanted that to go. But it is what it is. And again, I just blocked it. I don't think I even read the whole thing, quite honestly. But yeah, so there's that. And I think I asked several people, you can see I'm getting already uncomfortable speaking about it. I thought this was supposed to be light and fun. I remember when I released the book, started doing a lot of press for the movie and started doing all of those things. I remember asking a lot of people their opinions on, I'm not villainizing my parents, right? Like, I'm not saying anything bad about them. And they said, yes. So I said, okay. And so as long as I have that and know that I'm not intentionally attacking them or making them sound like bad people, because they really are not, then unfortunately, if that's the way they want to take it, then I there's nothing I can do about that. But yeah, so that's the only, and that's truly only the negative that I've got. And like Nashi, I know so many people from my prior life. And to be frank, just my parents, like, that's great. I'll take it. If that's the only negativity I'm going to get. Yeah.
I mean, really quick, and then we'll move on to the next portion of this. But I do remember after your book was written but not released, you and I sat here for, I think, almost 2 days straight in this apartment. And it was after a Viva, and then we got together the next day, and we sat here.
Advance copies. You guys all got advance. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
And you brought them over, and you asked me to read it, and then you came over the next day, and your first question was, did I villainize my parents? Because I don't want them to feel left out of this. I don't want them to feel like they're victimized. I don't want them to feel like they were bad to me. And I think your concern for them is they're your parents. So yes, that's one thing, but also you have to realize that your experience in this matters too. And if there was a time when you felt that you were treated mistreated, then that's an okay feeling too. It's not just their experience in this; it's your experience that matters as well. So,
you know, and I'll say it too because I think we touched on it the last time we spoke about how even back then being gay is just not something we talked about. Like we wouldn't even talk about that. They would just send us to group to get fixed, and hopefully it's fixed. Like we wouldn't be talking to our friends and neighbors and all of that about it. And so I think this is kind of a similar way now, a dozen years later, now that we're actually frankly openly discussing group, what our thoughts are, what the ramifications were, what's still happening in the world. I think it makes a lot of people, such as my parents, uncomfortable because it's the same exact principle. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to talk about that. And I think just in the last 3 or 4 years, not only conversion therapy, but many things that we're not supposed to talk about, we're now just openly discussing, which is great. That's the thing. I'm curious to know, Nashi, about. I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I'm curious to know, Nashi, about your parents' reactions on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like 4 years since I've talked to my parents. So, but I mean, I've gone through a lot of therapy this year to heal from a lot of the stuff that they said to me, and I think I'm at a place where I'm slowly going to reintroduce them into my life, but very slowly. So I don't know their opinion yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't talked to them.
Pending.
Yeah.
Tune in next time. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I say like therapy is a normal thing.
Yeah.
Therapy is a healthy thing. It is something that probably everybody should be in at one, at least at one point or another in a life. Everybody has something that they go through that needs therapized, and I think we need to normalize therapy a little bit more. We need to normalize mental health and physical well-being a little bit more. So I'm very proud of you for going to therapy for that, because I go to therapy twice a week and I'm still wondering how somebody hasn't come down and gotten me. No, I'm just kidding. So Pray Away happened. Pray Away was big for all of you. I will say this. I feel very blessed and very privileged to be in the group chat that we have together. I read it quite a bit. I look at it quite a bit, and I know, I say to myself, this is a time you can say something that is supportive, or this is a time you need to sit back and listen and read. This is a time you need to just let them hash things out. I remember right before, and all of you knew the release date, and I was like, oh shit, there's a movie coming out about these babes that I love so much. I need to get my ass in gear and know when these things are happening. But you all were talking about how nervous and how nerve-wracking it was, and how this person or that person was going to say something, or you knew the person who led the organization at that time might reach out to one of you or two of you. And I just, I kind of want to know the outcome for both of you in that aspect. Like, the movie itself was eye-opening. And again, I just want to say, as a person who didn't go through that, but knew about a lot of what was going on because the communities I grew up in, I didn't know how to have emotion in that moment. I didn't know how to be sad or mad or happy, or there was no happy moment, but, or like anything. The only happy moments in it were when people were denouncing what this was and saying, we fucked up. We shouldn't have done this. That was the only, and I was like, yeah, but you're still an asshole for doing it. That's what went through my mind. So I will turn it over to you, Nashi. What was your experience with it?
Well, to be 100% honest with you, I was meant to watch it in August. I think it was August, September. I was going to go see my brother in Tasmania. and we closed all the borders down for COVID again, and we were back in lockdown for the last 3 months, I think. So I told my brother that I wouldn't feel comfortable watching it alone, and he was like, well, I will watch it with you. And so he's actually coming for Christmas, and so I haven't watched it yet because I don't know how I'll go.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have no emotion or if I'll have too much emotion. So who knows?
What was?
I want to be safe.
Then let me pivot that and say, was there any fallout for you from the movie, or was there any like, thank God this was released and they're telling stories? I'll ask that then.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends have like reached out and said, I think after the interview I had in the Guardian, people reached out and said, hey, how can I learn more about this? And it's like, well, actually, there's a film coming out very soon called Pray Away, and you should watch that. And, you know, it's really beautiful to get like straight men who are allies in my life that have reached out and asked, what can I do better? And it's because of the film, like Pray Away. I was like, did you watch it? Yes. I need to do better and I need to know more. And which has been really surprising and really heartwarming to have those allies in my space now. Because coming back to Australia, it was like, will I still have a community? And I do. And I'm really grateful for them. And also my queer friends, they all were just like, well, this was, excuse my French, fucked up. Really glad you're alive.
Really? That's sums up all the comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say anything you want on the show. I feel like I say this all the time, but people ask me if they can swear on the show, and I say whatever the fuck you want on this goddamn show. Yes, it is fucked up, and you deserve. I mean, y'all deserve. You deserve the life that you want to lead. That's what you deserve.
Thank you.
Actually, didn't you contribute to their social campaign, or am I crazy?
Yeah, I did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just I just wrote a little bit of my story out and put it on their social media. It was on their Instagram, and I think I posted it in our little Facebook group that we had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have it. And I got a couple other people involved through that. But like I said, I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know. There's like this block with me that I just feel like I need to be with someone safe, and my brother is the safest person I know, and we just haven't had the chance to do it in person yet. So.
Yes, is your brother queer or not?
Yes. Yeah, my brother's queer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, not just like, oh, okay, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
He understands a little bit more what the world you're living in. So
yeah, and like pretty much lived experience is that we had the same family, so it's like I get it. He didn't go through as much of the conversion therapy, but definitely was beaten down with the conversion ideologies and practices in the church for a long time.
Dominic, you were a part of the post-production, and you were featured. I was like, there's Dominic in the movie. In the movie, and that wasn't like it was a moment where I was like, there's Dominic. I don't know how to feel about Dominic being in this movie, because it's not like you were in a movie where I would be celebrating the content of the movie, other than the fact that there were people that were denouncing what was done during the conversion therapy. But I was also like, I'm so proud because you're telling this story and you're being a part of this thing that so many people have gone through and nobody has had answers on why. I want to ask you the same thing. Like, what is your post-production which you are a part of, also post-production, not production, excuse me, post-production. What are your post-production like feelings, thoughts? How are you dealing with the movie being out? I know you're also somebody who is very introverted in a way, but extroverted with your close people. So I see a different side of you than the world would. Nashi would see a different side of you than the world would. How are you dealing with all that?
Yeah, I think what you said is a strange thing. There's a strange dilemma that a lot of other folks are close to me too. They're like, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what balloon do I get you for this? It really is.
It's your trauma.
It's the same where they're like, we're proud that this is out there, but like how horrible and how awful. And it's the same. Well, I will start by saying that, like, so the same with Nashi. I think you might have to refresh my memory, but weren't we talking about it in our group message about like how we were like, some of us don't want to see it right away, some of us do, because I think Jared hasn't seen it yet either. Is the same thing where he's like, I'm waiting. He's like, I need to wait. Another girl that I knew that was in the group is the same thing. She's like, I need to wait. And I think she's waiting till the holidays as well to see it with her family. So that's not unheard of. I'm not shocked at all. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't wait because working so closely to the amazing producers and director who actually lives here in my neighborhood, and really becoming involved in this in the press and post release stuff, I kind of had to watch it many times. I think excuse me, let me put on my headphones. Oh, okay, sorry. My roommate is here. I think for me it was difficult. I was sent a screener in advance that I made a horrible decision not to watch before I went to the premiere at Tribeca. I don't know why I did that. Don't ask me why. I was just like, I think I'll be okay. I don't need to do this, blah, blah, blah. So then I showed up for the Tribeca Film Festival premiere, which was amazing and wonderful. And congratulations to all of them involved. I literally had nothing to do with it. It was invited and showed up. So congratulations to everybody that was involved in that. And I swear to God, I'm not name dropping, but I was seated next to AOC from Congress, and which was a great honor and wonderful. So we're just sitting there with our masks on in outside venue in Brooklyn. And we started watching the movie. And again, this is the first time I saw it. And I probably made it 20 minutes in before I was like, and I need to go stand over here. I'm going to be a mess. So all of 20 minutes in, and I was like, the whole rest of the hour. And the reason why I mentioned AOC is because she came back and she gave me a big old hug, which was very sweet. She didn't have to do that because she could sense something was going on. So then I sat in the back for maybe 45 minutes to an hour, just yelling at myself, going, why the hell didn't you watch this? You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. And I'm crying. I was more mad at myself for not watching it ahead of time, because I could have done that. So anyway, so we premiered there. That was fine or not fine. Then I watched it once more at home just to get my notes and everything in order before I started doing all the press for it. It came out, it dropped in July, it dropped the last weekend of June. June is obviously Pride Month. So we were doing a lot of press during June. I did Anderson Cooper on CNN. I did ABC News, and I did the New York Times. And I had to kind of know every inch of this movie because I felt really, really obligated to the producers and the directors to speak eloquently, not only of my experience, but also to get people genuinely intrigued to press play on the Netflix documentary. So did a lot of press for that. And then when it actually came out, then I did the theatrical release with some friends down in the Village. So keep in mind, this is maybe the 4th or 5th time I saw it, and I'm still a crying mess. And then, so this is great. And then that week as well, then I had several viewing parties, two or three viewing parties with separate friend groups, which were actually a lot easier to do because then you could pause it. And I highly recommend to everyone that's watching it, watch it however you want to, with whoever you want to, but watch it with the ability to pause. So that way you could take just 1 or 2 breaks during it, just shake it off, and then come back and watch it again.
I watched it 3 times.
You did? Okay, yeah, exactly. That's my highest recommendation for everybody. And so anyways, so we were told by the Netflix people, and this is still true, I believe, is that when a show or movie or anything hits on Netflix, you have maybe a 2-week window where you get a lot of attention, and we might even get into the trending and all that, which we did. Yay. And then it kind of disappears into the billions and millions of things that are on Netflix. And that's absolutely true. So we were really, really trying to maximize on those first 2 weeks when it hit. And I think we did a very successful job, and I'm very pleased and I'm very happy with it. But after those 2 weeks, I had to ask the producers and directors, like, hey, can I step back for like a couple of weeks? Because this is probably not good for my mental health to just be constantly wallowing in this all the time. And they, thank goodness they respected that. And so I've done some minor things since then. But that it's definitely took a toll on me to just wallow in it and be in it again and again and again and again and again. So anyway, so when you watch it, people, pause. Pause, walk away, come back and play. And it was the same thing. You know, I would just be sitting at home, you know, watching a dumb Disney movie, and friends of mine would be texting me saying, hey, I'm watching it. Oh, wow. And I'm like, no, don't do that to me, please. It's like, love you a long time, but oof. So anyways, I'll stop talking now. But
no, thank you for
that was kind of my experience in that month of when it was coming out and then when it did come out.
So you both had a lot of different experiences with both pieces of media, but also you both had different experiences in your experience of going through this. I don't even want to call it therapy, because therapy is there to help somebody. This conversion practice, we'll call it. So that all behind us now. Nashi, what is next for you? What are you up to? You're going to watch the movie. You have your brother who is also in the queer community. What are you doing with your life? I just want to know. Let's end on the positive note of like, what are you going to fucking kill in the future?
Wow. What am I gonna?
So positive.
And still in the good way. Like, what am I gonna knock out of the fucking park?
Yeah, I have to figure out still what's next for me. Honestly, I'm kind of in a little bit of a dead end job. When I came back here, it was the first thing I got, and I work in a call center now. So I have to figure out what I want to. I don't know, like what I want to do when I grow up.
You're doing so. Here's the thing. I'm just gonna say this. I don't want to interrupt you, but you have moved from the U.S. to Australia. We've all lived through this pandemic. You have been thriving. You moved from different areas of Australia in this time. You look great. You're taking care of yourself. You have mental health.
She's a survivor. She gonna make
it. Those are things that are positive, that are going on in your life, and that you're going to continue. And so, I mean, who isn't in a dead end job? Like, all of our jobs are going to end at some point.
Yeah.
But you have so much positivity it radiates from you. You're a person who has always been positive since I've known you. You always have some sort of like perfect outlook on something. You are just somebody who brings like an energy to a room that is not there before, and everybody needs, and they don't know they need sometimes. So like those are the things that are continuing for you and are going to be there for you. So with that in mind, what is your next step?
Screw capitalism. I want to talk about my job.
I mean, we all got to work for a living, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I think because we're just coming out of like lockdown number 6 here in Melbourne, with the most lockdown city in the world. I think I just want to start living again. Like I kind of, you know what it's like in lockdowns, you know what it's like to be alone. I live alone. So, you know, I think I started gaining a little bit more of that social anxiety, and the depression started creeping back in through these lockdowns. And so I think I just want to start living again so I can start feeling like that person that you just described. I know that is me, but it has been a really tough it's been a tough year. It's been a tough 2 years. And so just trying to find myself again, well, not find myself again, but like step into myself again and be that light and share who I am with people. I think that's probably where I'm going to go next, is just taking a step forward. I've been literally on my bed for the last 3 months.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's real. What I do want to say in response to that is you have this family. And anytime you want to just late night, I don't know, our hours are clearly off, but midday FaceTime.
14 hours ahead.
Then when you're like sitting there at night, do it. Don't stop.
Okay.
Stop hesitating. You have people, even if we're hours behind you. I almost said ahead, but you're ahead of us. Clearly, you're in Sunday. We're still in Saturday. So, but I mean, that goes for you. That goes for our Jareds. That goes for Cole. That's Rabbi. Everybody. Like we've got this little family going on, and let's fucking be a family and make sure we're taking care of each other. I don't want any of us to ever be alone. I think Dominic and I lived the like drunken COVID times together enough. So
I'm sick of her. Y'all take a shift already.
But I want you to know that's there for you. And mental health is fucking trauma. Mental health is trauma. Mental health is trauma and COVID for all of us. So yeah, we have that. We have that support system, and chosen family is fucking real. So it is. Chosen family is real family.
Yeah.
So
thank you for saying that. Like I think it's been hard to leave America. Like I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I still do. But like there's people like you and Dom that I would have loved to have been a bit more a part of your life the last year. But we've still got the rest of our lives.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll come visit.
Yes,
still young.
Well, I will say from what we've read, maybe I'm wrong, but from what we've read, Australia has kept COVID numbers down beautifully because of the lockdown. We suck at it. So like, I know the lockdowns suck, but y'all have been doing really great at this. So I think the #1 country in the world for COVID numbers.
I think maybe New Zealand is, but they're really small, so no one really cares about that. No, we do. We love you, New Zealand.
No, y'all are totally different countries and have like your own. Okay, kudos New Zealand, but Australia is a close second. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, yeah, we just need to be there for each other. Dominic, my dear, I probably know more than most people, but what is, obviously you have the play coming up that you're getting pages for, but what else is going on with you? Obviously we have our 4th season of Viva Aaliyah, which you're very involved in, and probably I drive you crazy on, but he's like, I need this, and 3 days later but what else is going on with you in this aspect of your life?
I not much. I mean, I'm getting back to work, so that's interesting and fun. I think a lot of people are I don't want to say struggling with that, but having a challenge with that as I am, and I'm just exhausted all the time. I think to it, I'm like, gosh, I used to do this 60, 80 hours a week, and now I can barely do 30 or 40. So getting back to work is interesting and fun. Obviously I do a lot of the accessibility services for Broadway. So we are reopening basically a show every other week. And that's really, really wonderful and exciting to hear those crowds, and the excitement that everybody is having. Getting back is so infectious and replenishing. It's really incredible to hear that and to see that and to witness that. It'll be in the next book. Surviving the plague. Surviving the plague. There's like me with a bottle of liquor in the front. Anyways,
let's not go back to mid-COVID times.
Oh, right. Yeah. But no, so just normalizing, getting back to normal, and changing the world. And we'll see if I can do that or not.
We can. All it takes is 1%.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It does. It takes one person to start a movement and the rest to follow. So you can do it. We can do it. We'll support each other and all of that. I love you both. I mean, uncontrollably, incomparably, you're wonderful. I love you. I love Cole, even though I know he just messaged me back. And I said, Cole, where are you?
It's a mother.
I love Cole. I love my Jareds. I love Ravi. And I mean, we'll always be there for each other. We're going to do this again, and sooner rather than later. We'll have our own like actual outside of Viva moments as well. But I respect you both, and I love you both. And this is the family reunion is there, whether we have 2 of us or 3 of us or 10 of us. So just blessed to have you on the screen with me and being able to chat with you and share your stories. And I couldn't be more proud of everybody that I do. So I can't wait to do that again. And if you don't message me with your lonely young person, I knew a lady at first, and I was like, let's not do that. Let's use nouns as they're there. Then you're in trouble.
I promise you, Mama, I will.
So with that, I just want to say that you're wonderful, and I can't wait until our next time together. I'm going to close out the show, but you're going to wait backstage for me. Yes. Give it up for Nashi and Dominic, my 2 babes.
Bye.
Next week, we of course have another amazing show for you. It is episode 69. So we're going to do something fun, of course. Maybe Dominic and I'll have a fun game. I'm thinking about switching around who our guest is, which is why I'm not saying who it is, just to make sure that we're having a good old fun 69 time. So I will see you next week. We will be back with you next week. I think I'll actually be broadcasting live from Rochester, New York. So Dominic, get ready for that. I'll be in the Hilton there. If you are looking out for me, I am competing in a pageant next Sunday. That is Miss Rochester up in Rochester, New York. And then the following Sunday, I will be competing at Miss Renaissance, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. So the next 2 Vivas will be remote. I will see you there. I love you all. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. You are wonderful. You are loved. And if you think nobody loves you, I fucking do. Viva Aaliyah.
Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah.